up, ADD fam? What is up? What is up? What is up? It works on the high pitch, the high note. So let's chop it up. Let's bust it up. Let's go old school with it. So back in my day, it's not going to be a surprise to no one that I used to hang out with some of the lowest of the low. As I've discussed, I've mentioned all the characters. One of these days you'll meet some of these characters that I've spoken of and haven't bumped into yet. One of them is Manny. Manny, aka Manny, is this guy that I met through DZ Squad. And he's one of those people, the Junkie Squad. And so he's a hardcore junkie himself, right? So he's was shooting up and all that way before me, right? So back in these days, in this time period, we went to go try to hit a jack move. Jack move, aka Jack move. So Manny, as I discussed, he was at one time he was a gangbanger. He has always and always was and would always be a criminal, a robber, this Mac still to the day just will be like that for life. Always into stealing, busting a jack move. As I've discussed, Manny had lots of toys, lots of stolen merchandise. He had the balls to steal and do anything. So we had a plan to bust a jack move on one of his drug dealers. So him, Manny, and DZ, boys, run together, slung drugs together since the age of 12, 13, right? These guys all run the streets together. They all know a lot of the same people. So, and Manny even more. Manny was into selling heroin way before I ever even did heroin. So, in these days, Manny was my pill guy one time. So all the time going and getting pills with him. So, one time, the place we're fairly close. I met him and his girlfriend at a Walmart. It was me and my wife. I walk in there, and his wife is in the lobby area, right? Walking with Manny. Manny's in Walmart. He's bought a pair of men's shorts, and so he's gone back in or something, and he's trying to steal a pair. They catch him, and we're sitting at the front of the store, and we walk out, and he's got a receipt, but he's got a stolen pair. Lady picks up on it and says, "No, come here," and Manny drops the shorts, and he runs out of the store. I'm there to get pills, right? So I'm there with my wife. My wife's out in the car waiting. Excuse me, I don't know where his girlfriend / wife was at that moment. She wasn't there then, right? So I go out and talk to my wife, and so Manny goes out in the parking lot, takes off, jumps in his van and takes off. Leaves his girlfriend there. She's either in the store or she's somewhere. I'm calling him on the cell phone, but his girlfriend's calling him, and so they're talking whatever. I was having trouble reaching him. I finally reach him, and he tells me, "Hang on a minute." And then a few minutes go by. He says, "Give me a minute." The police show up. Police are looking for him. But meanwhile, his girlfriend's sitting in the lobby. The cops come in. She's in the lobby, and she's sitting at a chair, and she's snorting Roxy's. She's got a whole script of Roxy's, right? That's what I'm there for. So I have to go in there, and I go wait for the police to subside, and I'm sitting there talking to this girl, and the lady's at the corner of eye, she's looking at me. And so I get nervous, and so I tell this girl, "I gotta go." It's not cool. So she didn't say nothing to the police, but the lady was talking to the police and had me in her eye, you know. And I'm sitting there trying to talk to Manny's girl, and she's out of it, and real out of it. So she, wasn't dealing with me properly, wasn't acting right. So the lady dealt with the police outside, they were driving around. So Manny's he's gone, and he's split. They gave a description of the guy and all that, so he's not coming back. So I have to wait for the police to leave before I can get my pills. This is one of the average type of shit I dealt with every time I dealt with Manny, every time I needed a pill, which was quite often. This is even before I got really hooked on pills. The progression for me, by the time I got on pills, it developed over many, many years, over 30 years, 20 years. I've been doing stuff for almost 20 years before I got hooked on opiates. I had done opiates for 10, 15 years and wasn't hooked on them. I'd get one on Friday, I'd get 2 or 3 during the week. It worked its way up. And in those days, I wasn't really strung out, right? So anyways, in these days, I'm starting to do a little more, and there would be times I would get hooked, and times I would get a little sicker than others, but it was minuscule, it was baby. It was baby sick, it was small for addiction on the level, you know what I'm saying? Baby shit. Work your way up, you get sick, so sick where you can't go to work. I was far from there during these times, during this day. Manny was far gone, way back in the day. So one of these days I call him and tell him I need a pill. I got a jack move. Let's bust the jack move. So we go, and I had known this guy. I mean, I didn't know him, but I knew him from Manny. A lot of times I'd have to go pick up Manny or Deezy. They either have pills or they take me to go get them. And in those days, I do heroin here and there. Wasn't hooked on it. Did it many years ago where I would just do it every now and then. So me and I would take either Deezy or Manny. They all knew pretty much about this, a lot of the same people. But, each of them had their own, peoples that the other didn't know. So, they were buddies together. So, they could always, between the two of them, find drugs, sell drugs, pull jack moves, rob, steal, Home Depot licks daily, all that. In these times, Manny and Scus was already way deep gone in heroin. I wasn't there yet. So I go with him, and we go to pull jack moves. So we pull up the dude. So here's the deal. I'm going to go in there. The guy's a huge drug dealer, but he's my size. He's skinny, and he's a heroin addict, right? So we're going to bust. This guy don't really know me. I've gone over there with Manny before, but every time I go there, guy's like, he's slumped out. He's already out of it. I could wear a hat or, I could disguise quick. You know what I'm saying? To a J like that, I could have gone in there and he may or may not recognize me. Like I said, I've gone over there only a couple times and dude's slumped out with Manny to get pills, and the guy's already over there rubbing his nose, so he probably don't even really know me. I could go over there and wear a wig and sunglasses and a hat, and he wouldn't know who the fuck I was, right? Right. So this is our plan. So we go over to this dude's house, and I'm scoping it out. I'm now sitting outside. Manny tells me, give me some time. I'll go in there first. Let me get some shit and make sure that he does a shot. And when I know he's good, then you're going to come in and you're going to jack him. I said, bet. So during these times, we used to carry pieces, right? I've always had a gun. Went to jail. Part of the thing was they let the gun charge go. When I broke my kitchen table, I had a gun then. It was my wife's and she'd give it to me, but it was mine. So they arrested me for that as well, because I went to grab my gun because I was going to leave. So my wife said, he's got a gun, So, they slammed me on the floor, and actually her mom told police he's got a gun. So this is what, when the police came and got me, it was like 6, 8 plus deep barbarians. Cops said, this guy's got a gun, so you can imagine. That, different story. Anyway, so we're going to jack this dude. He's my height, he's skinny, he's a heroin addict, slumped out, you know what I'm saying? Heroin addict. I'm not a heroin addict. Even at this time, I'm in good shape. Probably the best shape of my life. I've always done construction. If this dude gets stupid, I just slap him up. I UFC his ass, whatever. It ain't a problem when it comes to that. And we both have a piece, right? So we go. I let him go in first. He goes in. He does a shot with the guy. He comes out. Gives me the thumb. Gives me the thumbs up. I get out of the car. So Manny's telling him, I got a guy that I just met. Wants to buy some pills. He's gonna wait until he's already slumped out before he says anything, right? He does his thing. They shoot up. They get slumped out, and Manny gets the guy out on his front porch, right? So now he's got him outside, and he's gonna introduce me. I'm the guy he just met. He's seen me before a couple times at the gas station, and he wants some pills. He knows I'm cool. He's seen me with these other guys at the gas station. This is Manny's story with this guy. You know what I'm saying? So when the shit comes to shove, he didn't know who I was really. So I'm gonna jack him, right? And I go up there, and he's on his front porch. And right as I'm creeping up there, keep in mind I got a gun and a knife on me. Whatever happens, I'm gonna beat his ass. He ain't got time. He's not gonna get to a gun or a piece before I do, right? So this jack move, and I get up there, and I first step on the porch, and here comes his boys. Didn't call, which was not the norm. His boys came over on a wheel. They come around the corner. They pull up in the driveway. Here comes a guy's like 6 foot tall, 250, eats, sleeps, and shit steroids, and his little buddy, Micro Mini Mike, the micro pimp. Literally this big ass dude jacked up on steroids, and his little bitch. This other guy, small dude, 5'5", skinny, wearing like jewelry, wearing too much cologne, got his fucking hair gel in, and right as I go to jack this dude, these busters pull up and fuck my game, fuck up my jack move. Just dope out on the table. It was a shitload of heroin. What do they call that shit? All that shit. Dude had it all. Heroin, wax, oil, wax, heroin, and fentanyl patches, spray, and the fucking, the lollipops. Dude had all that shit, right? And his buddies came in and fucking cock-blocked me. It was gonna be my, best score, right? Dude had money. Was gonna jack him, was gonna hit him up safe as well. His buddies weren't there. I was gonna jack dude. Like I said, had the perfect alibi. He just met me at the gas station. He's seen me there a few times. He knows he gets drugs with other guys, so he knows I'm cool. That's it. Would've got away with, don't know, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of dope. Had a couple of what are those things? Balls like this. A couple balls like this, ounces, laid out on the table. Dumbass. His buddies come at the last minute. He's gonna jack him and fucking get out of there. And in that quick of a, for instance, in that quick of a time, God intervened and stopped it. Because I would have, say he told the police or something and got jacked for all these drugs, whatever. You never know. I've heard and seen crazy shit. He cop blocked us. This was like daily activity for Manny and my boy DZ. Daily activity. Jacking dudes, robbing dudes. It was in on many a days, robbing and ripping people off, taking people's money. Yeah, I'll be right back with your dope. And next thing you know, you're dodging phone calls. You see the same people a few days later at the gas station when you're meeting the same drug dealers, and you tell them, do something. So yeah, I used to be a dirty scandalous. I got to that point. I was jacking people and taking people's money, and we bumped back into him. Did it to a bunch of people. Like I said, at one time I was running with DZ, and 40 to 50 people went to jail in my little circle. This drug dealer was so hot. This was the second drug dealer that I had gone to. Enormously hot, cops hot on the trail. 40, 50 people went to jail in a 2-week time frame, except for me and like less than 15 other people. Out of 50, all went to jail. And they were all around DZ. All around DZ. Imagine that. So, kind of odd, kind of strange. The guy, the dope dealer, was known police in and around these things. Dude had the police on his trail, in his pocket, or gonna make somebody take the fall. I dealt with this guy who was like so smart and like one step ahead, had other dudes doing shit, and he'd sometimes come out in the the main drug dealer. He's got like 5, 6 guys under him, and they're all in the same parking lot. And he comes out, and there's fucking undercover in this parking lot, and he comes out, walks around, and then stops going for sure. Like, meeting eye and eye with undercover police, feds, all that. I watched feds following 2 different drug dealers in a 2 to 4 year span that I was on heroin. I couldn't tell you how many fucking stings and shit that I seen were going on from drug dealers I was buying drugs from. Crazy. We're busting people all around them, and they're trying to get those people to squeal, and none of them did. And the only ones that I know that squeal was my boy DZ. It's part 1 of Jack Move, Jack Lay. That was one out of. Some of them were ugly. Some of them I'll never be able to talk about. Because there are some people out there there's people out there that look for people of shit. I know that people have done stuff. I still know to this day of people that are looking for the culprits. So there's some shit I can never tell you. But I hung out with a guy, and goes around this guy Emerson Reeves. I watched him steal cars. Watched him in broad daylight steal cars. He'd been in and out of prison. He's bisexual. He's a low-life piece of shit. He's the one where I found my where my wife's ex-husband ran into at this guy Emerson Reeves' house. He was a dope dealer. He was sicko. He'd been in prison, stole cars. He was in everything. He moved his operation up to North Carolina, and it's got like 50 cars. One of these con men, real good talking shit. Got this huge roofing operation. He's got 50 vehicles running around the Carolinas. Emerson Reeves, Emerson Roofing. So watch this guy do all kind of shit and be a dirtbag. Heard he had his kids in his bed naked. He come over to my house when I was out of town working with Anthony when we lived in Kennesaw. He come to my house and gave my wife speed and tried to F my wife while I was out of town. So fuck him. I watched these dudes steal cars, rob people, know about a lot of robberies, know about a lot of heavy end equipment that was turned up missing in the 90s. Big in the industrial shit that you see on the side of the road, they used to be a lot easier to they're much harder, more sophisticated. Back in the day, you could steal any and everything. I knew a guy that used to steal all this heavy equipment and give it to this, and sold it to this guy that run this heavy, was one of the largest construction road shit, asphalt, curb, sidewalk, gutter, all that. The biggest one was whatever he is, Jay something or other. He's got one person. That's his competition. One man started his own company by all stolen hot equipment. millionaire, multi-millionaire, came here from New York, nothing, started making $1,500 a week, borrowed and was taking, whatchamacallit, the shit off of the company he was working for, was borrowing, stealing, and taking, the heavy machinery, was borrowing it and stealing it from the company he worked for, and getting away with it, and went out on his own, and, yeah, and so, like, like I said, he's the second biggest, sidewalk, curb, gutter, all that shit.